Hello everyone, Jamarcus here, and I'm here with week 7 of whatever division this is, Master Ball Showdown, SPDA Season 2, and horses are up against Erdiassel, who last season got like a dozen kills on a Mungus, so I respect this guy, and that they're probably good with the bulky mods, so I'm scared of this Gliscor. I feel like SPDF Gliscor beats my whole team, besides Keldeo, and maybe Iron Leaves. But yeah, I can't like offensive Trichology or like Iron Crown or even Spectre can struggle into that thing a little bit, and it kind of walls land out too. So I'm scared of this. I gotta be careful of it for sure. And then like Darkrai can be Sucker Punch or Scarf for Spectre. Gotta be careful of Zoroark too. Terra Slitherwing, pretty strong into me I think. Trichology can help with the Terra types they have, but Earthquake still hits really hard, so I'm relying more on Landorus for that. Let's just take a look at the team I brought. First up, Glastrier coming off the bench since week 1 and just attacking. Nothing really switches in too comfortably to the 4 attacks I have. Crash, Horsepower, Heavy Slam for Hat, and then Throat Chop kind of for Zoroark, although Icicle Crash should just be killing that thing. Throat Chop's also nice for like Psychic Noise or Boom Burst. Um, so maybe that'll be helpful, who knows. Then I'm Lumberry, there's a lot of status in this team. There's Wisp, Toxic, Nuzzle, Toxic, Glare, Wisp. Feels like everything has status. So that's what Lumberry's there for. I'm leading this thing, so I'm not too worried about hazards. Probably not going to switch out. I'm just going to attack till I die. Next up, Leaves. Max attack, adamant, enough speed for the... I should know this thing's name. Uh, the bug. I'm blanking. Slitherwing, that's it. So I'm going to be slower than like a fast Tentacruel, slower than fast Gliscor, but I'm alright with that. So I get quite a bit of bulk, quite a bit. Adamant more so. Just sub SD, Leaf Blade Terra Blast. Means I can't really hit Serp. I'm alright with that. They can't glare me, I'm Terra Electric. Um, just wall breaking is what this thing's here to do. It's not supposed to sweep, but if they bring a really bulky team, or like maybe Darkrai dies early, then this thing can sweep. So we'll see what happens. Sub also helps for like the status on the team. Modest Life Orb kill, do some damage. Hopefully with rocks up, I can break Tentacruel pretty well, and then it's really strong into the rest of the team. I have Pain Split to try and keep me healthy. If I think they're gonna like switch into something with full health, and I've taken some Life Orb hits, Pain Split, do some damage, and heal up a bit too. Vacuum Wave really helps. Does a lot of damage to Darkrai, and also nice if I like Weakness Policy Metagross and I fool around with that a little too much. A bit of an out there. Boot Spectre. Glasgow's probably going to get up hazards this game, so I imagine this isn't going to be a sweeping Spectre game. So it's probably going to come in, click Shadow Ball, and switch out. So that's what boots are here for. You might be saying, oh, but you're missing some EVs, and I have a reason for that. I forgot. Really standard set. Sub Nasty Plot, Shadow Ball, Draining Kiss. Nothing exciting. Iron Crown, pretty standard set. Same speed tier as the Iron Leaves, just outspeeding Slitherwing. Modest, max special attack, do some damage. With Tachyon, I have Psychic Noise to try and help stall break a little bit. Future Sight also helps. Future Sight plus Keldeo pretty much gets a kill. Nothing can switch into Hydro Pump and Future Sight, except for like Max SPDF AV Hat, or like I guess the same thing with Darkrai, but I don't know if those sets are showing up. I think Hat actually struggles quite a bit this game. Can't do a whole lot to Iron Crown, and just takes a lot of damage from everything. You don't need the fighting resist. You have other good fighting resists on your team and a fighting immune. Next up, last up, funny little set, Landorus. Fling Light Ball with some standard Landorus things happening after that. I have a little bit of speed for just something trying to outspeed my Landorus. Pretty defensive to help against Slitherwing and Metagross, even though Ice Punch, but forget about that. But the exciting thing is Fling Light Ball. The idea is I lead Glacier. If they end up leading Gliscor, they want to switch. They're like, okay, I'm 4 times weak to ice. I'm hoping they don't have to protect. Maybe they want to protect on Swords Dance, maybe. So I force them out. And then when Glacier dies to something, I don't know what, I can bring in Lando that hopefully baits in Gliscor. And then I fling my light ball onto it, which will paralyze it before its toxic orb activates. A lot of things have to go right there, but I'm 6-0. Let's try and bring a little bit of heat. I've been bringing some pretty standard sets the last 6 weeks. So that's Fling, Light Ball, Landorus, which I don't actually think is that exciting, but there's that. What do I expect to see? Anything, really? I'd say Hat and Cole are probably the least likely to show up. Tentacruel, I think, definitely going to show up. It's great into Keldeo. Darkrai probably showing up. It helps for Spectre, Gliscor as well. I'm pretty scared of Serp actually, but AV Crown should be able to handle it. But if they try and overwhelm that with like a Hat with Mystical Fire, then like Scarf, Leaf Storm, Serp can totally beat me in the late game. It's definitely scary. What do we see? We see the Colossal. No Serp is nice. We do see the Zoroark. It's never fun facing this thing. I don't actually think I faced it too much, but yeah, I definitely gotta be focused on what's going on in the game and knowing if I'm facing a Zoroark or something else. Otherwise, no surprises really. No Metagross or Slitherwing means Lando's job is not much besides getting this para on Gliscor. It kind of just dies to everybody else. I guess I can switch in on Cole and get up rocks, I don't know. But then they just spin them away. So I'm leading Glacier and hoping for the best. They lead Colossal. This could be Zoroark. Looking at their Terra types, Grass, Steel, Fire. 2 of them are weak to ground and they're already weak to ground. So I click Ground Move. Because I'm thinking, okay, I got a good chance at their Terra still being weak to ground. I'm going to click it. And if this is Zoroark, that's okay. Icicle Crash would kill them, whereas High Horsepower wouldn't, but if they're leading it, there's a decent shot their Sash, maybe, or their Specs, and they 2-hit KO me anyways. So I just click High Horsepower. Is the Terra Grass like the obvious Terra? Yeah, they probably want a backup water resist, backup ground resist. So could I have predicted and clicked Icicle Crash there? Maybe, but I don't like making big calls like that on turn 1. So I just click Safe Play High Horsepower. I know I'm Lumberry. If they Wisp me, I'm alright. And that's what ends up happening. I can just Icicle Crash the next turn, and you might be noticing these both have 30 base speed. I forgot to run speed. I definitely should have had a little bit just to outspeed a bulky Colossal, which I don't think they're going to run much speed. So eventually we're going to see the speed tie. But I do go first again. Icicle Crash, no flinch. A little unfortunate, but they do Wisp me again. I crash again. I hit, which is great. I win the speed tie again, which is great. Don't get the flinch. But I've won 3 speed ties now, so I can't ask for too much. But I'm going to keep clicking Crash to try to get this thing low. To get up rocks, a little unfortunate for my team. Mostly a problem for Keldeo and Crown. They're the which they actually resisted, which so it might be surprising. But they're the ones that I think are going to be switching in quite a bit this game. So like Lando probably going to switch in once, maybe twice. Leaves definitely never switching with that thing. But Inspector is boots, so a little unfortunate. Rocks going up. Let's be honest, Gliscor's probably clicking Spike at some point too. I just keep clicking Crash to get some damage. They finally want a speed tie on turn 4. Flamethrower, that's fine. It doesn't do anything. I love this Pokemon. They rest again. It's actually nice that I lost the speed tie here, because if I won, unless I flinch, and then they rest, they'd be at full, whereas I end this interaction at 75. They end up switching to Tentacruel. I'm fine with this. I crash. I miss. That really sucks. Would have done pretty good damage. Would have told me what their set is. Like, are they max defense for like Secret Sword Keld? Maybe they're AV. Not that Icicle Crash will tell me that, but or are they like max speed? Maybe they're max speed, max special attack. It would have been nice to know their set, and also that chip would mean like Keldeo 2 KOs them after rocks. So would have been really nice to hit that. But I also hit 5 Icicle Crashes before this, so I can't ask for too much. I'm asking for a lot, I know. I click Icicle Crush again this turn. Obviously it doesn't do much damage to Tentacruel, but they're either going to kill me here or switch to Gliscor on the ground move to get their Toxic Orb activated. And I don't want them to get that for free, so I click Ice Move, but it's all for nothing, they just kill me, which is fine. I go Lando, figuring, okay, Tentacruel probably didn't want to stay in here. They have 3 ground switch-ins. They have their Colossal, which is asleep, so I don't know if they're going to go that. Noivern, risky play. Gliscor, not so risky of a play. So I click Fling here, figuring they're going to switch. And what do? They reveal Clear Body. And they do go into Gliscor, so we get the Fling Light Ball activated, which is great. This thing is much less of a threat now, should be a lot easier to kill. At this point, I switch Keldeo, figuring, okay, Gliscor can't do a whole lot to me and I can force them out. I thought maybe I'll set up Rocks, but that gives them a free spike. And I think they can get rid of Rocks. They have Tentacruel, which maybe I could spin block, but that's a big call to play, especially when I don't threaten them back all that much. And then Noivern could also defog. So I just switched Keldeo. I figured Rocks weren't worth going for there. They end up knocking off my Keldeo, so kind of wishing I stayed in to get Rocks. Knockoff wouldn't have done anything to Lando. I already lost my item. But losing my life orb, well, it kind of sucks to do less damage. It gives me more staying power, which might end up being a good thing. Tentacruel comes in, not surprisingly. I click Hydro Pump, do about 30%. Pretty nice damage. They reveal Black Sludge, and I bring in Crown, figuring they can't do much to me. Hopefully they don't flip turn here. They don't. They Sludge Bomb, which is great. In comes Gliscor to be sacked, probably. I click Future Sight here, because I figured they don't really have a great Future Sight plus Tachyon switch in. So that's what I go for. I didn't think Tentacruel really wanted to stay in on me. And if Darkrai comes in, I want to get something out of the turn at least, rather than clicking a Psychic move into it and having to switch. At least if I can force Darkrai out the next turn, I have Future Sight up, which puts on a lot of pressure. My Tachyon, which is fine. They get up a spike, not so fine. And next turn, this Future Sight's going to come out, and I'm going to click Tachyon. They don't sack Gliscor, actually. I thought they were, but they end up going Darkrai to be immune to the Future Sight, which I get. But also now your Darkrai's at 23%, which is great for me. It means it's dead to Draining Kiss, which it definitely wasn't from full. And it's dead to Vacuum Wave, which it also was not from full. So this thing being chipped down is fantastic. I save this. I will live a hit, and I could trade against the Darkrai right here, because I'm AV. But that risks a flinch. I don't think Lando has much of a role this game. I could go Keldeo because I would resist, but if I go Keldeo, they just bring Tentacruel, they get Black Sludge recovery. I'm not 2KOing them without Rocks up. So, it feels like I'm just taking a lot of chip on Keldeo for no reason. So I just end up sacking Landorus here, because I don't think it does much more this game. I think if I get up Rocks, they'll be able to spin. And I don't really have another play. I don't want to risk the flinch, and I want to keep health on Crown. Because I have no Ghost Resist. So, like Scarf Shadow Ball from Zoroark can definitely beat me in the late game, so I have to be very careful. I'm trying to keep this thing healthy for that. I bring in Iron Leaves. I'm pretty confident this Darkrai is Choice Scarf from this point. That Dark Pulse damage tells me they're probably modest, and I just think they're Choice Scarf. So I bring in this, figuring, okay, I can bluff Terra Fairy or Fighting. They probably want to switch on that. And I can get up a sub for free. A lot of Hazardous Chip, not great. Attack Booster. And they bring in Coal. Terra Electric. I set up a sub. Had they stayed in there to Dark Pulse, it was a roll for Dark Pulse to put me out of sub range. So it was a little risky, but I do think them switching there makes a lot of sense. Coal comes in. This thing's got to sleep for 2 turns, so I'm setting up. So ISD as they try waking up. And then I think this is a misplay, me going for SD again. And I'll let this interaction end before I explain why, but I do think this was a misplay. They sleep again, I Leaf Blade, do 55%, they wake up and Flamethrower to break my sub, and I take them out with Leaf Blade. So I end this interaction with +4 attack, and my attack booster at 50%. I think I could have ended this interaction at +2 attack with a sub up, And I think that would have been in a better spot, because no matter how much attack, I don't care if I get +6. Sure, I OHKO everything on the team, but they have things that are faster and revenge kill me. So I think trying to keep a sub up was more important than getting that Swords Dance. Now, I needed that Swords Dance to 2-hit KO though. If I just Leaf Blade here, instead of flicking Swords Dance again, I do about 35%. It's not going to 2-hit KO. But what it would do is, A, give me 2 chances to crit a Leaf Blade, and if I crit one of them, it will kill. And B, after my 2 Leaf Blades, they would have woken up at the turn they were at around this health point anyways. So they could have rested instead of clicking Flamethrower there. And if they rested, then I can Swords Dance again and then do enough damage. So I basically had a chance to 2-hit KO this with crits, and I didn't take it. And I think I should have taken it. All that doesn't really matter if they end up being Choice Specs Boom Burst on Noivern. They could go through my sub and kill me anyways. So it might not have mattered at all, but a little misplay. I think I should have taken the Leaf Blade chance. Also, I don't know if they were Flame Body, but I avoided that, which was nice. They kill me with Draco. And I bring in Spectre. Figured they probably want to switch there at -2 special attack. They don't want to get set up on. So I click sub. I brought double sub. In comes Tentacruel. Really wishing I had Psychic right now, but I don't. I click Nasty Plot in front of this. Next turn I click Shadow Ball, which does a lot of damage. It doesn't kill. Surf does a lot. And I can kill with the next Shadow Ball. In comes Darkrai. This is the most obvious Scarf Darkrai of all time. Maybe they have Sucker Punch, but I'm thinking they're just Scarf at this point. I go Keldeo here. I don't really need another switch in. Dark Pulse will 2-hit KO Crown. Keldeo can force it out with Vacuum Wave. So that's what I do. They Dark Pulse me. And I'm very confident they are Choice Scarf here. If they're not, they can just kill me with Psychic, but I don't want a Vacuum Wave. Because if I Vacuum Wave into anything, I guess Gliscor would be fine. But if I Vacuum Wave as Zoroark or Noivern come in, they pretty much get a kill. So I click Pump here. At least if they go Noivern, it's a lot of chip, which would put it in range of Spectre, hopefully. And I'm not thinking they're going to stay in here. And they don't. They go Gliscor. I miss a Pump. It's alright, I can hit the next one. They bring in Zoroark to revenge kill me. And this was a really tough call for me to make. Darkrai's in range of Vacuum Wave. It says 100%. It's not. It's at 23%. And Scarf Darkrai with Dark Pulse beats my team. Unless I sack something to it, and then I bring in Crown, I will live a Dark Pulse, but I'm risking a flinch. And also, if they get any chip on me, which they totally can with Shadow Ball or any move from Noivern, it'll put me in range of Dark Pulse. So I need Keldeo for Darkrai. I will lose to that, unless I can somehow get a sub up and a kill with Spectre, but that doesn't seem likely. So I need Keldeo, so I have to switch. If I sack Spectre, I lose to Scarf Shadow Ball, or Spec Shadow Ball, especially Spec Shadow Ball. Because I need, well, I guess Scarf Shadow Ball looks like it's going to beat me anyways, let's be honest. But at least if there's specs, I have something that's faster. I do end up sacking Spectre here though, thinking they're going to go for a Shadow Ball, and then I can go Iron Crown after and live the hit and get some damage on them. But even then, that wouldn't kill them. If they are just Shadow Ball here, I probably lose the game, unless somehow Iron Crown kills them. Or they're slower than Keldeo, which both seem unlikely. They double out to Noivern. Maybe expecting Iron Crown to come in, I'm not sure. But I go Spectre, and this works out great for me. I can just click Draining Kiss. It'll take me out of range of anything from this, unless there's Specs Draco. And then if there's Specs Draco, I have a really easy Crown, which will pretty much force a kill. Or at least get chip. Draining Kiss, nice. They go for Flamethrower. They are Specs. And they thought they would kill me, but they didn't account for Draining Kiss recovery, I guess. So I actually end up living, and I can do that once more. It still takes me out of range. I get to 49%, barely out of range. They get a bit of a lower roll there, though. And suddenly this Noivern is at 12%, which means it's also in range of Vacuum Wave. So Zoroark's the only thing that Keldeo can't kill right now. If the Darkrai has Sucker Punch, then they'll go before my Vacuum Wave. But then even then that might not kill me. So if I can manage to kill this Zoroark, Keldeo should win this game. They bring out Zoroark on the Draining Kiss. They didn't want to sack. I finally sack Spectra here to a Shadow Sneak. So I'm thinking, okay, they're probably just like Shadow Ball Hyper Voice with Shadow Sneak as a last move for Spectra. I go into Iron Crown, and it's at this point, after I've switched in, which I realize I lose if they have Poltergeist. If they're physical, I lose the game. They kill me with Poltergeist, and then they're faster and kill Keldeo with, like, after Hazard's Shadow Sneak. And they can't Poltergeist Keldeo because I have been knocked off, but that doesn't matter. Shadow Sneak would kill me. I can't Vacuum Wave them because they're a Ghost type. So if they're Poltergeist, I lose the game, assuming they hit. Also, if they switch, I lose the game. They can just Shadow Ball me for the win, or even just Shadow Sneak for the win. So I stay in. I thought maybe I can Volt Switch on the Noivern sack, because they should switch here. But then I have to bring in Keldeo, which means Crown's taking extra Hazard Chip when it comes back in, which puts it in range of Darkrai. So I decide I have to stay in, I have to Tachyon and hope that they stay in. If they switch, I think I lose the game. They Shadow Sneak again, they end up being Choice Band, and I take them out with Tachyon. The Draining Kiss damage on them did not matter. Tachyon would have killed from full. But Zoroark goes down, and that means Keldeo can Vacuum Wave the rest. They lock themselves into what I'm still assuming is Scarf Dark Pulse. I don't know for sure if it's Scarf. So they could Sucker Punch me here. I'm not sure if Sucker Punch would kill from here. I don't think it would. I Vacuum Wave, they don't have Sucker Punch. Down goes Darkrai, and down goes Noivern. Very close one, probably the closest one this season. Very close end game. My opponent pretty sure had to switch on this Zoroark turn here, like I mentioned. They were choiced, so their choice banned from the Shadow Sneak damage that was shown this turn after. So had they switched, they would have had to lock into Shadow Sneak. They can't Poltergeist Keldeo, so they can't lock into that. And Shadow Sneak, as you saw, did not kill Iron Crown, so they would have had to get damage on Iron Crown somehow. If they forced me out, see, that did 57, so I was at 19%. Hazards would have done like 18.5%, so it was totally a roll for the Shadow Sneak to kill, unless that's an absolute max roll. So they probably had to force Iron Crown out somehow, and then go for the Banded Shadow Sneak late game. How would they have gotten chip on Iron Crown? Probably go Noivern. Just click any move, because I can't really switch in at that point. It'll do enough damage to where Shadow Sneak kills me. So maybe sack one Pokemon and attack with the other. If they go Noivern and click Flamethrower, maybe I can go Keldeo and live that. But then Iron Crown would still come in and have to live that Shadow Sneak anyways. So tough end game for both of us. But yeah, as long as they stay in here and can't kill me with Poltergeist, I'm good. That didn't happen. So we take it home, 7-0. That's week 7. And pretty happy with the team I brought. Very happy the Light Ball Lando worked. Life Orb Keldeo, probably good that got knocked off, because a couple of Life Orbs and I was not going to be alive here on turn 39. Lead Glacier didn't quite work as well as I wanted. If I had a little bit more speed and got a flinch maybe, it could have worked out. But I thought about switching Icicle Crash for Avalanche, and I'm very happy I did not do that. Let's look at the standings here. The week's not over yet, so some people have played 7 games, some have played 6. Frozone did pass me. He got a better differential than I did. I only won by 1. So he's passed me, and I play him next week. So it's 7. It's the 2 undefeated coaches going at week 8 to see who ends the season number 1, which will be fun to see. Pokemon stats. The week's not over, so take it with a grain of salt. This Espeon could pass if it gets some kills. But currently, we're taking top 2 right now. Spectra, Keldeo. Keldeo got 3 kills that game, which was great. Spectra just 1. Hoping to get a few more kills on both in week 8, which will put me in a pretty good spot for having the kill leaders. It would also put me on the top 20 kill leaders of all time for this league, which would be really cool. Don't think I'm going to get to the KO leader, just because they're pretty expensive Pokemon, especially Spectre down here. If I get 2 more kills with Keldeo, though, it would hit 1.0 KV, which is the goal, I think, with higher tier mons. If you can get like that many kills on one of those Pokemon, I think it's great. And then as for my all-time draft stats, personally, Keldeo catching up to Terrapagos could become my all-time kill leader at some point. In only 14 games, it's gotten 25 kills, which is great. It's done very well in both leagues I've drafted it in. Got 12 kills in the first one, including playoffs, and it already has 13 in just 7 weeks of the horse draft. Very happy with how it's doing. And Spectre, I think it's a great duo. I'll totally use this again. Lando's really nice with it too. A fairy type and a dark type would be nice. Knockoff would be nice. Hazard removal would be nice. Spikes would be nice. There's a lot that this team doesn't have, but I've enjoyed using it nonetheless. Well, that's week 7. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you later. Bye-bye.